Hey guys, Savat here, aka Doompiggy, and I'm here with another Eve Echoes video. Now, the Oracle is not really improving at this point in time. I will have to get a lot more and save up some more money. So, I'm probably going to do some other things. Now, I'm not going to stop doing the Oracle videos, I just don't think I'm going to do a daily one because it's at the point where it's not going to be improving on a day-to-day basis. My skill frames are going to be a lot longer than just one day at a time, so I'll do updates with all of that. I may do some fun fits here and there, but basically unless I'm taking it out for some type of mission or doing something with it, it's kinda not going to have a video every day anymore. Now, with that said, today's video is actually going to be more about the Harbinger. Here we go. So last time I showed off the Harbinger, and I'm still in the same fit with it, uses exactly the same things as it did last time, and just to reiterate that for anyone who hasn't seen it, I have the C-type medium pulse lasers. I am using a Nosferatu, Stasis Webifier, Interruptive Warp Scrambler, Mark 7 Valkyrie, C-type Afterburner, C-type Armor Repper, Hansen 800mm steel reinforced plate, and 2 C-type adaptive armor hardeners. Rigs, anti-kinetic, anti-explosive, auxiliary nano pump. Over here I just have regular prototypes, they're all semiconductor. We're doing 560 DPS or 589 with the drone. Defense without armor rigs active, 41,145. Capacitor is stable as long as the Nosferatu is running. If it's not running, it's not stable. Navigation, slower than crap. And that's about that. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to go ahead and do one of these missions. Now these missions, when you first get up to doing the T8s, the hard ones, when you first jump into them, if you're not doing any type of range tank, it can be a surprising amount of damage that they actually put onto you. So one of the things I wanted to fix was make sure that my tank was stable enough that I didn't really have to worry about anything. And I can just AFK these missions for the most part, meaning that I can do other things while I'm watching my ships. There's a couple of parts that can be a lot easier if if you're more active. But for the most part, I can just chill, orbit, and fire. Now, the range on these guns is not very far. 18 out to like 23, maybe 24. But it's no biggie. We're not even gonna orbit that far off. So you can be a lot more active in the ship or a lot more passive. The more damage is probably the better route to go if you want to speed clear things, but maybe a little bit more dangerous. And the armor plate here, this might be able to be replaced with something else. I like the armor plate again just for kind of those moments that you're not 100% sure, and the extra armor that it adds flat when it's cold. So it gives you a panic button
warp drive active
if needed. As far as clear times on the missions, that's one of the things that we're going to find out today. So if you are looking to do T8 laser ships, this would be your T8 laser ship, and you can kind of see how it would perform in a tank method here today. Now this ship is my go-to for not the large lasers, because of the tracking being so much better. It lets me not really have to think about the smaller ships. They can still do laps around you, and you still got to make sure your positioning is okay. Like, you don't want them sitting at like 3 km away, whizzing around you. But that's what the web is for. Alright, so with this ship you just want to warp right into the middle, as close as possible. And hopefully they actually spawn around you. One of the things that I've noticed with these missions is sometimes they don't actually pop out right in the same areas close by. Sometimes they're 30 km off, or even further in very rare cases. I say very rare cases because those are on some of the bigger missions I've noticed that on the tier 9s where they'll spawn like 50 km away. Now one thing I also noticed about the ships here is they actually do like to play games with you. So some of them will try to keep range while other ones get close, and it's not all the time. The dynamic waves really are still quite similar every time that you play, but they do have different behaviors. So in this case here, we're going to lock up everybody. We're going to set orbit on this guy. We're going to stop these lasers from firing. We are going to focus fire the small ship first. Now this guy, if he does get close enough, will web you. I believe this one is the one who is putting on... Yes, putting on all of the E-War stuff. Which again is fine. The E-War out here in Caldari, they're going to use the missile jamming, Webbers, Scrammers, and Nosferatus. Actually, I would like to fight you first, sir. Alright. So with this wave, we haven't even gotten into our armor as of yet. That usually happens quicker rather than not. Let's take out you. The Nagas have large guns. I have seen Nagas with missiles, and I've seen Nagas with railguns. Don't know why they switched those up. That's one part that's always been a little confusing to me. Alright, shield's starting to get to the dangerous spot. We don't particularly care, that's just kind of our warning. At this time you can go ahead and put your armor reppers on, or armor hardeners. And as I showed in the last video, this is what our new defense threshold looks like for all of the different ones. Now one of the things you can do with this ship as you are fighting, since you are fighting at such a close range, you can go ahead and pick up your loot while you're doing it. Don't have to worry about too much cleanup afterwards. This ship can also leave the armor repper on. So I'm going to orbit our little buddy here. Now one thing about lasers, even though these are Caldari ships and they are shield tanks, the way that it works, whenever you up the difficulties, they're going to get hit point percentage upgrades. I don't have those in front of me right now, but that means that they do have way more armor, way more hull, and way more shields than normal. Where the lasers absolutely tear through shields, and they don't do such great work on the other two. Which is one of the reasons why lasers aren't exactly the best weapon for PvE. We are going to hit you with all of our stuff. Now, I don't know if he's going to be using a micro warp drive or not, but better safe than sorry. Now we go to the next one. Now as you can see, my armor's starting to get a little tore up here. It'll be fine. Okay. We can turn this guy off now. These guys aren't going to be rocking any type of micro warp drive, so that's not going to do us anything. And again, this can be replaced with whatever you want. I just have it on for that, basically, if they do have it. You can use another web. Another web would work just fine. You can put a target painter in there. We're so close that I didn't think putting the, what is it, this thing? Guidance disruption would be any help against even their missile boats. All right. So the shield's taken some damage. Well, not the shield, the armor, I should say. But again, we're not even really concerned. We have our panic button if we need it, which we shouldn't. And everything is going just fine. The Drake is just hitting us pretty hard. So we're just going to straight on approach the Caracal. These Caracals do like to try to get range from you. So especially when you're going at these speeds here, that's when you may want to actually use your afterburner. Alright, and everything's cleared up but the Drake. So the Drake itself isn't really going to do anything to us. It'll just annoy us with these missiles every so often. Now the next wave, if I remember correctly when doing these, is going to be a much bigger wave of smaller ships. The smaller ships, when they get the warp scrams on you and all of the webs, and that's when you can start to panic, and that's when you have the most possibility of losing ships if you just react horribly. Happens to all of us at some point or another. There's probably some perfect people out there that have never lost a ship to panicking, but I guess for a majority of us it happens. That's one of the reasons why I do keep the panic button on here, though, is just in case I consider myself taking too much damage, I can do that to give myself a buffer and give myself some time to actually make some space or try to make some decisions where I'm not freaking out. Okay. What I want to do is actually unlock you, lock you, unlock you. And not forget the Nosferatu. Let's focus fire. Let's collect a little bit of loot. Well, I guess this wave wasn't the scary wave. There's 4 waves, right? So maybe it's the 3rd wave where it starts all that stuff. And so yeah, this wave is just like the first 2. Nothing to really worry about. Alright. So our Caracal boy over there is going to blow up here in a second. Fantastic. Alright. Doesn't particularly matter which order we kill these two in. It's going to take the most time on the Drake here. I guess if you wanted to do it efficiently, you would kill the Moa first. Because the Drake is probably the one applying the most damage. I figured I would just go ahead and kill the Drake in this case first. If I can remove him from the table. Now a lot of people would say if you remove the Moa from the table, if you did that, the Moa's going to die faster. You take damage off the table faster, less damage. It doesn't really matter with this particular build. Whatever you would think is best. Those Drakes are beefy ships, though. Alright. So the Drake will be going down here in a second. And with the Drake down, we are going to attack the Moa. And I want to take a look here and see how far I am off the anomaly. 21. So we're right in the thick of things. Let's go back to loot. Let's prepare for wave 3. Alright, so I'm trying to move out here, because this is the one that I know where they go fast. We already have a bunch on us. See a bunch of little guys. This wave here of all the little guys is where I don't like the large weapons, because the large weapons themselves have a ton of trouble hitting, and even sitting at range, there's so many, they can stay back. So I know it can be done because I have done it. I've sat back and killed them all, and only had like 1 or 2 ships actually even approach me back at my extreme range. Let's actually kill you first. Can't hit that other guy right now. This is that scary wave I was telling you about. I honestly don't know what this is on. Let's get it on this guy. If we can. Okay. Now let's focus on you. And let's approach. There we go. Let's approach you. We can lock up everybody now that we've got the most important ones taken care of. You can stop firing. Let's go ahead and focus fire you since you're in range. Set in orbit. Alright. So with the problematic ships dealt with, there's no issues whatsoever. Now we just play cleanup. And again, with this build, we can pretty much leave everything running. Alright, we're closest to the MOA. Let's collect some loot. Now that Naga has some big guns, and they can hurt. Especially the ones that actually spawn with the snub nose. Whenever you do get close range with this build, then they can lay on some damage. And a lot of times that's where I'll actually see the tank get tested in the slightest. Loot. And we're still going to loot you, right? Alright, so for the most part, all of these guys are out of any type of optimal range. And we're going to approach head-on. So this is not that tough of a go. I can sit here and do these missions, feel pretty safe, watch Netflix, watch somebody stream, or play another game while I'm doing this. Get some Crusader Kings action going on. Alright, we'll go into an orbit now. And we'll approach the Caracal head on. Well, might as well get our loot first. We're right here. Turn around, go grab it. Alright, now we're on full approach. Man, that guy got all wrapped up around us. Yeah, these caracals, they like to go all sorts of different areas. But the ships are so spread out in these ones, it's almost, I would think, almost better to not do a close-range brawling build unless you have more speed. So one of the things I say you can probably do, if you did want to get more damage out of this, is you can replace the armor plate with a heatsink, and it would allow you to get way more damage. I think the heatsink by itself may put this ship up over 600 DPS, and still have a pretty nice tank. You just don't have the panic button. And that does it. We can put away the hood ornament. Alright, so that mission was, what, 3-4 million? 3,700 or so after taxes. As far as jumps go, I'm sorry, not jumps. I was looking at that. As far as loot goes, the loot on this mission doesn't have very much. It says about 2 million. It's nowhere near 2 million. The loot is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Caldari ship debris, I mean, they always do sell for a decent amount for the most part. They're probably much better if you have all the skills to go ahead and reprocess those and turn them into, well, things that make more money or use them to make ships. Me, I just sell them. I was able to make between a couple of story missions that I did and testing out a bunch of stuff today. So today I did a 7,500,000 mission for Omar. And right before that I did a 6,000 mission again for Omar. I did a bunch of the $1 million missions. Just playing around, hanging out. Was watching a lot of TV today and just trying to get my money back up to a rate where I can get some stuff done. I still have a lot of upgrades I need to make on the 2 ships that I have, and I want to pick up a couple other ships. I think the next 180 million I get, I may get a cargo runner, so I can try out some of these cargo running missions just to see if they're any more profitable than the combat missions. Because if I can get 180 million back from it and a relative speed, it may be a great way to AFK stuff as well. I don't know, just kind of something different to do more things than what I already do. I don't do a lot of PvP, or rarely any at all. The ships that I fly are mainly battle cruisers, which are very bad for PvE or PvP. And so I kind of just hang out and do my thing. Being able to do it safely and not have to have all my attention on it is wonderful. Now for the storyline missions, that's where I like to have the challenge. I like to see what's going on in those. See if you can accomplish them, even if you can cheese them. I lost my last Harbinger to a storyline mission after the changes. I killed all of the scammers except for one before they got me down. What I ended up doing was I accidentally killed the last ship while I was too close to the spawn, so everything spawned on top of me, and I lost it. It was a sad day. But it turned out okay. I mean, I learned a lesson. I gotta make sure that I'm not firing my guns when I go into 0 before a new wave spawns. And the ship is still tanky enough. If I can pull out all the elites and everything, then it's fine to deal with those away and then move into the swarm afterwards. And just knowing that you're not going to be able to get scrammed at that point and can get out if you need to. Alright, so this thing says it's worth 2,735,000. If I'm to sell these, it's 155,000. What's the market say they're worth? 60,000? Yeah, I'll take that. So we'll sell both of those. And what's the market say these guys are worth? 13K. Nowhere near the amount of value that they said they were. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and throw these up there. Those will make us a little bit of money. So don't let your cargo hold fool you. Well, that's all I got for today. If you like it, go ahead and please hit the like button and subscribe if you're inclined to. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.